You are invited to the most anticipated royal event of the year. The long-awaited wedding of Great Britain's beloved Prince Harry and American actress, activist and sweetheart Meghan Markle.
We went and met for a drink, and then I think very quickly into that we said, well, what are we doing tomorrow? We should meet again.
What are we doing tomorrow? Let's meet again. And then it was like, right, diaries. We need to get the diaries out and find out how we're going to make this work.
On November 27th, 2017, the couple announced their engagement, and 6 months on, history will be made at the spectacular Windsor Castle.
No, we're thrilled, thank you so much. Both of them. I hope they'll be very happy indeed.
Absolutely thrilled. It's brilliant. And as I said, America's loss is our gain.
William and I are absolutely thrilled. It's such exciting news. It's a really happy time for any couple.
The excitement can be felt all over the world. In the build-up to the big day, we'll inspect the plans and cover how this unlikely couple came to be.
With someone alongside him that really touched people's hearts.
Look, she's shone, I think, probably more than anybody, because she's used to the camera and the camera loves her. She's a very beautiful woman. She's been able to cope very well with it all, in my opinion.
This is your royal invitation. Situated in the southeast of England, in the county of Berkshire, there are few places as quintessentially English as the historic market town of Windsor. For centuries, Windsor has played a key role in the lives of the British royal family. And in the spring of 2018, it will be the site of one of the most anticipated events of the royal calendar: the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
Of course.
Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I said, can I say yes now?
She didn't even let me finish. She said, can I say yes or can I say yes now? And then there was hugs and I had the ring in my finger and I was like, can I give you the ring? She goes, oh yes, the ring.
On May 19th, all eyes will be on Windsor as the guests arrive for the big day. The ceremony will take place at St George's Chapel, inside the gates of Windsor Castle. Built in 1475, this stunning 15th century Gothic chapel has seen many a royal wedding within its walls.
I think they've gone for St George's Chapel because Windsor is very close to their hearts. They've spent a lot of time there during their relationship so far. It's somewhere they can get away and walk in the country and still have a lot of privacy. And obviously, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh are largely based there. So it's somewhere that's very, very important to the whole family. And it's been the scene of many royal weddings as well in the past. It's where the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall had their wedding blessed, and Count of Wessex and his wife, the Countess of Wessex, were also married there. Princess Eugenie is going to be marrying Jack Brooksbank there as well. So it's obviously a very popular choice. It would be slightly less formal, perhaps, than Westminster Abbey. But this is a different wedding. It's not the wedding of a future monarch. So it can be a slightly more intimate affair, although with 600 plus guests, it's hardly going to be a small event.
The ceremony will begin at noon, and the question on everyone's mind is who will be designing Meghan Markle's wedding dress.
I think it's $1 million question. Everyone wants to know who she's chosen. We know she has chosen someone, and she's already been having some fittings at Kensington Palace, all top secret. We know she flew in her best friend, Jessica Mulroney, from Canada to help her out. And Jessica is a bridal stylist, so she's really an expert in her field, and she's helped prepare Meghan for a lot of her public appearances recently. I think, there's talk of Roland Mouret, Elie Saab, all these very famous high-end designers, Canadian design, and has huge appeal worldwide and is incredibly exclusive. So, if she wants to position herself alongside the likes of Angelina Jolie or Beyonce, they are right up there. And then she may go for fashion designers she's worked with in the past and who she really trusts. You have Erdem. We've seen her wearing McQueen again recently. I'm not sure whether she would choose them because obviously they designed Kate Middleton's wedding dress as well. But until she steps out of that car on May the 19th, we have no idea. We know that Meghan has a lot of very close female friends. Whether or not she will choose them to be bridesmaids or just stick to flower girls, as often happens, we'll have to wait and see. But we do know that Prince George and Princess Charlotte are lined up to be heavily involved, we imagine, as flower girl and page boy. Well, Prince William has joked that he hasn't yet been asked by Harry to be the best man, but I'd be absolutely astonished if he isn't. He obviously knows the drill when it comes to royal weddings, and he, the brothers are so close. I think it would be only fitting that he takes that role. Harry has got a lot of very close male friends, and I'm sure they'll all be playing key roles at the wedding. And it may be that, as William did at his wedding, he asks one of them to speak and make the cheeky best man speech rather than his brother, who, let's face it, also will have 3 small children to keep a vague eye on as well during the ceremony.
I'm sure that the best man, or supporter as they're called if they're a member of the royal family, will be Prince William. He claims he's not been asked yet, and it's on FA Cup final day, the football calendar's cup, and Prince William is the president there. So, bottom line is it will be Prince William. I can't imagine anybody else. And I'm sure in terms of the bridesmaids, it will be George and Charlotte again on parade with a few others along the way. We're still not certain exactly whether or not Meghan's father will be giving her away. There seems to be some doubt about that. And it could even be her mother. I mean, all of these things, I'm sure, raise eyebrows amongst traditionalists in the royal family, but what can you do? It's a different age, it's a different time.
Doria Ragland, who is her mother, is obviously incredibly close, and we know she's been over to the UK and spent quite a bit of time with Harry already. Meghan describes her as huge fun, so I'll be looking forward to seeing how they interact on the day. And we know that her father, Thomas Markle, is also going to be attending the wedding. Obviously, it's every dad's dream to walk their daughter down the aisle, so I imagine that's what we'll see. And there was also talk that he is going to make a speech, despite some reports to the contrary. And Meghan may also surprise us with a speech of her own, we're told. As someone who's backing gender equality all the way, I'd love to see her do that, sort of her putting her money where her mouth is. So we may see her get up on the day, pay tribute to her new husband, and also thank the Queen and the royal family for welcoming her.
I mean, it happens quite a lot nowadays, I think, that the brides want to say a few words. It's not traditional, but I wouldn't think it would be a major problem if it happened. The Queen was given, when she did the reception for Prince Charles, it was the Queen that made her speech there. So, look, I'm sure that everyone will be quite happy for her to say a few words as long as it, doesn't drag on.
I think we know that they're planning to make the ceremony a reflection of their personalities. So I can imagine there are going to be some fun moments in there. I wonder if there might be some African music to reflect their love of Africa and the time that Harry spent there. And we know that it's something that they're hoping to share with the public as much as they can.
The fact is, Westminster Abbey was expected for Prince William and Kate Middleton, but Harry is a lot further down the pecking order. There's Charles first, then William, then George, then Charlotte. By the time this wedding takes place, the new baby as well. So Harry is lower down the pecking order in terms of the line of succession. So it's not necessary that he has to follow the procedures that everybody else has done in the past. The reality is, though, I think that it'll be a more controlled environment, less of a spectacular. Although the TV cameras will make it look as wonderful as any other royal wedding, the actual event itself feels more and will feel more like a family occasion. And maybe that's what he wanted to achieve.
At 1 o'clock, the couple will embark on a carriage procession through the town, and there is no doubt that the streets will be lined with cheering well-wishers. The procession will pass along Castle Hill, High Street, Sheet Street, King's Road and Albert Road, before finally returning to Windsor Castle along the famous Long Walk. Upon their return, the couple will attend a reception at St George's Hall alongside their guests. Later that evening, the Prince of Wales will host a private reception for the couple, family and close friends. It will be a busy day, full of joy and celebration. And by the end of it, Great Britain will have a new American princess. Meghan Markle spent her childhood in Los Angeles, California. Born in 1981 to her African-American mother, Doria Radlin, and her Caucasian father, Thomas Markle. Although her parents divorced when she was just 6 years old.
There is no doubt that with all of these, when anybody marries into the royal family, the media immediately start looking into the background and the family of that person. I mean, with Meghan, it was quite easy because she'd been very...
There was a show called Married with Children. Do you remember that
Seen it,
show?
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So I grew up on the set of Married with Children every day after school for 10 years. I was there.
Wow.
I know. It's a very perverse place for a little girl who went to Catholic school, no less, to grow up, because I'm there in my school uniform, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then the guests...
Growing up in the Hollywood area, Meghan attended Immaculate Heart High School, an all-girls private Catholic school.
This morning I woke up and I saw the news and I was really excited, and I knew that our school community would be very excited because a few of us had been, following their relationship, and the buzz around school was that she was engaged to Prince Harry, and so I went on the announcements. I spoke of the news, everybody was really excited.
When she was a student here, she was very involved in many different activities. She was here for middle school and high school, and so 7 years of commitment to the school. When we've been here for 112 years, and so we have thousands of alums, and we're very proud of what we hope we have instilled in them, this sense of great heart and right conscience, and being able to make a change in the world for the better. She has been an outspoken supporter of women's rights and equity for women, and I think she's going into a situation that will just give her more opportunities to even do much better and more important work.
It's amazing to think that, she's walked our hallways, and that someone as successful, as kind, as generous, as giving as Meghan, has really rose up the ranks. And that's extremely inspiring for all of us here, especially at an all-girls school, because she's just the definition of, who we aspire to.
She studied at Northwestern University, which is very prestigious. She's obviously very bright. She interned at the US Embassy in Buenos Aires, and then she got into acting. I think she went back to LA and met a manager who had seen some of her work as a student and thought, she had the potential to go far, and the rest is history.
She's obviously a very determined young woman, somebody who, has excelled in her acting profession, has become very successful, has made a good amount of money out of that, but also has thrown a lot of her personality and her finances into good causes. So, her as a person, fantastic, perfect background, clear, perfect match for Prince Harry, particularly with their interest in Africa and beyond. But like with any family, there are a few issues, with her immediate family.
There's a misconception that because
women, I think it's lovely to see that from a young age she's had this campaigning nature, and the fact that she's gone out there and done that on the world stage, given this speech without referring to notes, is incredibly impressive, and I think will stand her in fantastic stead for her royal role.
Women need a seat at the table. They need an invitation to be seated there. And in some cases, where this isn't available, well, then you know what? Then they need to create their own table.
Meghan Markle was previously married to actor and producer Trevor Engelson. The two met in 2004 and were together for 6 years before they married, although it was not meant to be, and their marriage only lasted for 2 years, and they divorced in August 2013, citing irreconcilable differences.
They seemed very happy. They were together many years before as boyfriend and girlfriend, but it just didn't work out after a couple of years. And they divorced amicably. He's been approached, I think, by a number of TV and media outlets and has not said anything at all, and I probably won't say anything either. You know, Meghan is a divorcee, but she had not been affirmed into the Church of England. Her relationship with Harry wasn't anything to do with ending her marriage to her. Still some mystery about this blind date, who set it up. They said that it was a friend who set up the blind date and there was an instant attraction. They didn't want to say who the friend was. It's been speculated who it is. But actually, he was clearly very, very keen to meet her. I think he was a Suits fan, the series that she was in, and she claims she didn't really know who he was. But hey, I'm sure that's not true. But clearly they clicked on the first date, had another date, and then started this long-distance relationship. The only thing about the relationship that may have meant it fell by the wayside was the distance involved. But clearly, every opportunity they had, whether it be friends' marriages or just at the end of a royal tour, Harry would fly to Canada or she would fly over here to London. So they did well to keep that going, given they were both extremely busy people.
It was,
It was just a choice, right? I think that very early on when we realized we were going to commit to each other, and we knew we had to invest the time and the energy and whatever it took to make that happen. And so yes, with the filming schedule, it was not the easiest because it of course included a lot of travel back and forth, but
I don't think you had any idea what time zone you'd been on for the last year and a half.
no.
Coming over here 4 days or a week and then going back and then straight into filming the next day, 4 a.m. wake-up calls on a Monday,
Yes.
straight into set, and
Right off the plane and straight to set, just coming
I'm just
back
trying
and
to
doing it again.
trying to stay as close as possible, but on 2 different time zones and 5 hours apart does have its challenges. But we made it work and now we're here, so we're thrilled.
He must have felt, well, it's probably time. And when he met Meghan, I mean, clearly there was a physical attraction between the two, but when he met her, he was completely bowled over by her. She claims she didn't really know who he was, but I mean, I'm not buying that. I mean, that may be the way girls get to get on the radar of a famous man, but of course she knew who he was. He's the most famous bachelor in the world, so I mean, it would be ridiculous to even suggest that. And when we saw those photographs of her from the family album in the Daily Mail of her posing outside Buckingham Palace, I'm sure that sort of put a lie to that one. But my opinion is they clearly are very, very tactile, very much in love, and good luck to him. It was at the right time for him and right time for her.
I think Meghan had quite a difficult initial period after their relationship.
Meghan Markle has been subject to a wave of abuse and harassment. Some of this has been very public. The smear on the front page of a national newspaper, the racial undertones of comment pieces, and the outright sexism and racism of social media trolls and web article comments.
Harry reads everything that's written about him and about those in his life, to the point where he actually will talk to you and mention things that you've written about that he doesn't like. He's an avid follower of the press. Yes, of course, that will have driven things that he would have read over the last week about Meghan Markle that he hasn't liked, the racial undertones he's talked about, the outright sexism that's been in some of the coverage. That will have stung him to the heart, and I think that is what's prompted this very unusual statement from him.
I think the moment everyone was waiting for was their first appearance together. They'd been photographed from a distance, but no one had seen them officially together as a couple. And it was a great moment alongside him that really touched people's hearts. He's been out there on his own for such a long time, carrying out these engagements. He does a great job. He has a real connection with people. But actually seeing him with someone at his side supporting him was a really lovely moment. It transpires that very quickly after their first couple of dates in London, Harry persuaded Meghan to join him in Botswana, and she spent 5 or 6 nights camping out with him under the stars. So they got to know each other very well, very quickly. And I think, you know, it's been quite intense all the way. And a year later, they went back to Botswana and spent perhaps a more relaxed time there, travelling around. They also went into Zambia and stayed next door to the Victoria Falls, which is obviously a very romantic experience for anyone. And I think it's fair to say they probably did discuss marriage at that point. We know that Harry sourced the diamond for Meghan's engagement ring in Botswana, so it's going to be somewhere incredibly special for them forever. The ring was designed by Prince Harry. He's chosen yellow gold because, as he says, that's Meghan's favourite. He has bought her a fantastic diamond from Botswana, which has so much sentimental meaning for them both now. And it also contains 2 stones from Princess Diana's private collection. So there's a huge amount of significance in his choices, and it's a beautiful ring, one that I'm sure...
Yeah, I mean, the ring is quite sweet, really, because, you know, like with Prince William, although Prince William actually gave the actual ring it was his mother's ring to Kate Middleton and proposed in Africa. Again, Harry sourced the diamonds from his mother's collection and, you know, and then had the ring made. The trip to Africa, I suspected that the engagement effectively took place there, the proposal, but they say no, it was a place that he'd loved. Obviously, he'd been there before with other girlfriends, which doesn't always bode well, but the fact that they then announced that he proposed on one knee whilst they were cooking roast chicken at home in their cottage all sounded very quaint and sweet. But I must admit, when they were away on that holiday to Africa, I suspected that it was moving in that direction for a royal wedding. I mean, it sort of had to, really.
Just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
Of course. Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I said, can I say yes now?
She didn't even let me finish. She said, can I say yes or can I say yes now? And then there was hugs and I had the ring in my finger and I was like, can I give you the ring? She goes, oh yes, the ring. So no, it was a really nice moment. It was just the 2 of us and I think I managed to catch her by surprise as well.
Finally, on November the 27th, 2017, Harry and Meghan officially announced their engagement to the world in the sunken garden of Kensington Palace.
No.
Absolutely thrilled. It's brilliant. And as I said, America's loss is our gain.
William and I are absolutely thrilled. It's such exciting news. It's a really happy time for any couple and we wish them all the best.
The actual day their engagement was announced was just incredible in terms of the excitement it generated. I think most people were expecting something to happen, but still when the news came, it was really quite thrilling, especially for royal watchers like myself. And as they stepped out into the garden, the sunken garden at Kensington Palace, it was so poignant. It was the place that over the summer had been planted with white flowers in memory of Harry's mother and somewhere that we know she loved to spend a lot of time. And I think there are lots of touches like that about the announcement and no doubt the wedding as well, which will remind us all of the fact that he's really thinking of her and the fact that she's not going to be there. But it was a really happy moment. Meghan, you know, dazzled the cameras as she's very good at doing. And just looking at the body language, it was really special to see. You know, they were touching each other, there was a lot of giggling, holding hands, arms, and I think the really lovely moment that came was right at the end of their engagement interview but you know, also having a great deal of fun together.
It's been an extremely positive reaction. There's been some negativity, I think, on the internet in terms of you know, the Twitterati, the trolls about Meghan's racial background, but that's just inevitable, I think, in this day and age where people hide behind the social media. But the reality is, in the reaction for Harry and for Meghan has been very positive. I think they've, you know, they really clearly look very much in love, and I think everyone's very happy for them. And what's interesting is the American angle on it. Of course, you know, an American actress marrying into the royal family. It's a huge story for America too.
We're going to have an American princess again. I think that is terrific. And I think Meghan Markle exudes all the good. It's a great gift we're giving to Great Britain. This is her new job. I mean, being a royal isn't just getting married and going and putting on tiaras from time to time. It's a full-time occupation.
Their engagement interview was revelatory. I've never seen a royal interview where people seemed so very relaxed, happy in each other's company, and you know, just so affectionate and open. It was fantastic to hear them talking about all sorts of things, and really their happiness and their personalities came across. And it's a far cry from, you know, the 80s when we had Prince Charles and then Lady Diana Spencer looking unfortunately very shy and awkward in front of the cameras, and things were a lot more conservative and straight-laced in those days. So you'd imagine a change, but you know, the dynamic between Harry and Meghan was fantastic to see.
Children?
Not currently, no. No, of course, you know, I think you know, one step at a time, and hopefully we'll start a family in the near future.
Have you met each other's families, I imagine?
Yes, his family's been so welcoming, and
You've met quite a few of them, actually.
I have, on both sides of his family, his mom's side as well, which has been really important to me too. But yes, the family has been great, and over the past year and a half, we've just had a really nice time getting to know them and progressively helping me feel a part of not just the institution, but also part of the family, which has been really, really special.
Trying to track them down and make sure that they're around at the same time that she's popping in without telling too many people. And we've actually done incredibly well to make sure that you've met all the key people.
The other thing about Harry and Meghan's engagement interview, that they are in a less pressured position. For Kate, when she had to appear with William for the first time in their engagement interview, she wasn't only being announced as his bride, she was being announced as our future queen. And that is quite a daunting prospect for anyone. She hadn't been in front of the cameras before, and I think she acquitted herself incredibly well. But obviously for Meghan, it's something she's very used to. So we can, you know, imagine she's feeling a lot more relaxed generally. And, you know, she is with Prince Harry, who's known for his sense of humour and his relaxed approach to things. And that really came across too. We know that Meghan is going to become a Duchess. That's the most likely situation. We know that Harry will likely be made a Duke, and the dukedom that is hotly tipped is the Duke of Sussex. So there are some other options out there, but that seems to be the most popular choice at the moment. So it's something that the Queen will likely give them as a wedding gift. And if it follows the pattern of William and Kate's wedding, we should hear about it on the actual morning of their big day.
The reality is, I think it will be a surprise if Harry's not offered a royal dukedom. If there is a royal dukedom, there's only a few that's available. My favourite would be probably the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. That is one that is available, a royal dukedom. Could be the Duke and Duchess of Clarence. There's been some suggestion that they'd be lower ranked than a duke. But I think that's unusual because, of course, and that would mean there would be an earl and a countess like Prince Edward was made. I think that's unusual because, of course, he's the second son of the future king, and it won't be long before Prince Charles probably is king, and then his son should be expected to be a royal duke anyway. So I would think that the Queen would offer him probably the dukedom of Sussex. Technically, if you're marrying a prince, you are becoming a princess. The way to understand this quite clearly is Prince Michael of Kent, his wife is called Princess Michael of Kent, not her name, which is Mary Christine. If he is made a duke, she adopts the same level of rank as him. So he is a royal duke, so she will become Her Royal Highness the Duchess of, say, Sussex. Technically, she is Princess Henry of Wales, because you take the husband's title, but she would be known as the Royal Duchess.
First and foremost, as a member of the royal family, your role is to support the Queen. So that may be through the work you're doing on a daily basis, visiting charities, supporting organisations throughout the UK, but more importantly, overseas as well. And we know that Harry and Meghan will be travelling a lot around the Commonwealth. It's something that their aides have told us about.
Well, what was interesting is that Meghan wiped clean all her previous charities, which I thought was a little strange thing to do, actually, because just when they were going to get more money, the charities, from her change in status, you know, they would probably lose that money. But that was decided to wipe the slate clean. And what the royals tend to do now is to work out all of their charities through their foundation. So all the money comes into their foundation. And from there, they make donations and they do startups and they help various charitable organisations. I think initially, at least, she'll work with Harry on a number of his charities. I think also that she will then start to feel her feet as to where she wants to get involved. And also she'll be given some military regiments as well to be assigned to them to be linked with her. So all of these things will develop in time, but it's clear that there's an empathy and with Prince Harry. There's a lot of his work, and I think a lot of that they can do together, and then she'll see where she can branch off and do other things.
Harry's travelled a great deal on behalf of the Queen and also on behalf of the UK government, and we'd expect to see Meghan doing that. She'll probably even do a few solo trips with time. We know the Duchess of Cambridge has started doing them now in the last couple of years, and I'd expect to see her out there with Harry. But I think they're particularly interested in the Commonwealth. It's something that Harry's been working on with youth initiatives connected to the Commonwealth for a while. So I'd expect to see them doing lots of glamorous world tours in future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The couple's engagement, Meghan Markle was in the city of Nottingham on her very first royal visit. Of course, Prince Harry was by her side as she took her first steps as an official member of the British royal family.
The first time Harry brought Meghan to a public engagement in the UK was to Nottingham, which some people might think was not the most glamorous start to her life in the royal family, but actually it's a city that Harry's been deeply involved with for many years now. He works with lots of youth projects there, and it's clear that he really wanted her to see the work he's doing on the ground, taking her into estates, you know, that are perhaps a bit more deprived, where the community is really pulling together to help their young people outing. But he's got a great rapport with people from the city, and it was clear she was getting involved straight away. From the moment they opened the car doors, you know, they were screaming and shouting. People in Nottingham love Harry, and they were just so excited to see her. She was dressed in a fairly low-key way, looking very glamorous. It's clear that she's there to get involved and do the work, as well as being this kind of fashion icon, which inevitably is going to happen.
Well, I was up in Nottingham and I thought that particularly was a very good welcome, her first visit that she's done. I think that she was straight out of the car, not really waiting for Harry, which was probably not the right thing to do. I'm Meghan, how are you? But she was very, very well received. People liked her. She worked the crowd very effectively and very openly and honestly.
After Nottingham, we saw them down in Brixton in a similar sort of situation. They were visiting a local radio station that's working with young people. And it was lovely to see them getting involved, going out, meeting people. And again, the screaming and shouting was off the charts. And I think particularly in Brixton, which has had its issues in the past around race, it was very significant for Meghan to appear there. And I know she, you know, got a lot of praise from the local community, who are very excited about seeing someone who's from a mixed race background appearing as part of the royal family.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that she was invited to Sandringham for Christmas with the Queen, and that went extremely well from everybody I've spoken to who was aware of what was going on at the Royal Christmas. Apparently she was so well received and everybody thought she was great. So that, going backwards, you know, shows that that she's been able to adapt very well. I think that at the very start, it must be extremely nerve-wracking, no matter how good an actress or how strong a personality you are, to come in from the outside, to be somebody who's actually having to relocate as well their home to marry the man you love. It must be quite difficult, particularly with all the public interest. But look, she's shone, I think, probably more than anybody, because she's used to the camera and the camera loves her. She's a very beautiful woman. She's been able to cope very well with it all, in my opinion.
Wales. The Princess-to-be has secretly visited the Almanar Community Mosque, just minutes from Grenfell Tower in the Kensington Borough of London, to show her support for those affected by the tragic fire that took place in June 2017, which killed 71 people.
What do you think your mother would have thought of Meghan or said about Meghan?
Oh, they'd be thick as thieves. Without question. I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, so excited for me. But then, as I said, would have probably been best friends with Meghan. So no, it is days like today when I really miss having her around and miss being able to share the happy news. But with the ring and with everything else that's going on, I'm sure she's
with us.
I'm sure she's with us. Jumping up and down somewhere else.
And the apartment next door to William and Kate is actually being tipped as their future home. It's a 21-room apartment, currently houses the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. But we know renovations are taking place, and I would be quite surprised if at some point they don't move into a bigger place. They're going to need a room, I think. Well, Harry's always talked about wanting kids. I mean, a couple of years ago in New Zealand, he told a few of us, of course, I'd love to have children right now, but he hadn't found the right person at this stage. And we know Meghan's probably at a stage in her life where she's ready to be a mum, and they both have a great connection with young people, as we've seen on their visits to Cardiff recently. Getting down, playing with them, hugging them. There was a lovely group hug moment for Meghan. I think she's going to be a fantastic mum, judging from the outside. They've said, watch this space. I would not expect them to take too long before starting a family. I've been lucky enough to meet Prince Harry on several occasions, and I've interviewed him a couple of times, and he does what he says on the tin. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a really passionate character. He really backs the causes that he supports. And he brings a lot of fun and excitement to the royal family. So I think everyone's going to be watching his and Meghan's future together with a lot of excitement.
The date is set. The plans are in place. And now we eagerly await the Prince and Princess's happily ever after.
And the corgis took to you straight away.
That's true.
For the last 33 years been barked at. This one walks in absolutely
Just
nothing.
laying on my feet during tea. It was
Wagging
very
tails.
sweet.
And it's just like, oh.